Get that fucking trash out of your life. You have legacies to build. We grew that business from 3.4 million to 17.1. Horsepower, not horse shit. You want to be the parent that's an ally. They don't need another fucking friend. Not everybody's cup of whiskey. Toughest advice for the toughest businessmen. Be relentless. Weekends make you weak. That's one of the badass millionaire rules and principles that I share with my mastermind members and my newsletter subscribers. Weekends make us weak. I have a great story from the long weekend to share with you this morning that really drives home the fact that 365x 7 days a week, a mental toughness that you take no days off is actually better, it's actually simpler, and it's easier to maintain long-term discipline and to achieve the wealth, the relationships, the fitness that you want if you take no days off. I have always been a believer in no days off, and it makes me different than 0.001% of the population. I grew up as a young adult. I cut my teeth as an entrepreneur and as a professional hockey coach, and then I owned my own 2 junior hockey teams. And what I learned in the trenches over those 2 decades was that the secret to winning at the highest level was no days off. And I've also discovered in the last 19 years, when I started finally living life and doing business on my own terms, when I started building my business around my life and not my life around my business, is when I took no days off. When I invested in myself 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, 12 months a year, 365 days a year, I actually had to work less. I had all of a sudden all my worry, all my anxiety, all my stress just simply disappeared. By doing what? By taking no days off. This conditioning we have in North America comes from our school system, right? You're age 4, age 5, and you enter the school system. Well, what happens for the next 12 to 13 years from kindergarten to grade 12? It's Monday to Friday, stop. Monday to Friday, stop. Okay, then you have your anxiety, you have your worry on Sunday nights. School on Monday, start again. Monday to Friday, stop. Monday to Friday, stop. So we have been conditioned for decades. Same thing in university, same thing when a person gets into the 9 to 5 workforce. Monday to Friday, stop. Monday to Friday, stop. And it creates a stop and start mindset. It creates a mindset that we've all experienced. My wife, Krista, especially as a former science and biology high school teacher, she still gets the anxiety, what she calls mini panic attacks when the summer holidays or vacations are ending in August. She hasn't taught school in 15 years. She still gets the same anxiety or panic attacks on a Sunday night after a long weekend, and that comes from teaching school for decades. And it's this stop and starts. And this is why weekends makes us weak. The story I'll share with you is from the past Easter weekend, which was a 3 to 4 day weekend, depending upon what industry a person was in. But the schools were closed for 4 days, of course. The banks were closed for 2 days, or for 4 days. The markets were closed for 3 days. So give or take, everybody was, out of commission over the Easter weekend for a good 3 to 4 days. So here's exactly what happened with my daughter Emery. My daughter Emery is 10 years old, and for the last month and a half, we've taken her out of her school here in Florida, and she's now being homeschooled. So she goes to math practice and visits her math teacher, the great Dan Leonis, the world's greatest self-proclaimed math teacher. And I take her there for a 2-hour session every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday. That's 6 hours at the kitchen table, pencil and paper, drilling math, drills, just like a football practice, just like batting practice in baseball, just like a hockey practice that I would run. Perfect practice making permanent. Perfect practice making permanent. He's walking around, they're talking about addition, subtraction, division, they're doing their skip counts, 2 plus 2 all the way to 400 and all the way back down, 3 plus 3 all the way to 400, all the way back down, 13s plus 4, 13 all the way up and all the way back down. He makes her write it, he makes her close her eyes and visualize the answers, and he makes her say it. So he's using all 3 of the learning forms. So math practice, 6 hours per week plus another 2 hours of homework with each session. So when she goes on Monday for 2 hours, he gives her another 2 hours of physical homework before she returns 48 hours later. So really, she's getting 6 hours of one-on-one kitchen table coaching and another 6 hours of intense homework. Great coaches give homework. I give my mastermind guys hours of homework. I push them to think. I push them to think independently. I push them to look at things differently. I push them to think differently. I push them into behaviors they're not used to. Great coaches and teachers always give lots and lots of homework. So for the first time in a month and a half, last Good Friday, Emery didn't have math for the first time. And Dan's not the type of guy that misses, for a President's Day or a 4th of July or any of this other stuff. He's like me, he shows up every day. But Good Friday being the day that it is, there was no math on that day. It was a family day for us as well. It's a day of reflection, it's a day for family, it's not a day for work. So it was interesting. So Emery didn't have her math class for the first time for 4 consecutive days. On the Wednesday, that was her last session. On the Wednesday, she had her 2-hour session with Dan, and then of course she had her homework over the weekend. So you have Thursday with no training, you have Friday, Good Friday with no training, which would normally be her 2-hour practice, and then you have the Easter weekend, which was Saturday and then Sunday, and then yesterday when I'm shooting this video, we went back on the Monday. It was sort of a holiday some places. I never understood that, holiday Monday, but when I owned the barber shop and owned McLean Insurance and let's put it this way, I worked on Monday. I don't need 4-day weekends. So nevertheless, she didn't have any math training for 4 days. So that's the same as a quarterback not throwing the ball for 4 days. It's the same as a person not playing tennis for 4 days. It's the same as a person not reading for 4 days. It's the same as you not walking for 4 days, not copywriting for 4 days, not drinking a gallon of water for 4 days, any of that stuff that comes with the stop and start lifestyle. Weekends making you weak. Start, stop, start, stop. So it was interesting because Dan measures and times everything that Emery does. So when she does her skip counts of 2s, 3s, 4s, all the way up to 20s, where she adds all the way to 400 and then all the way down. He times everything. Like a great coach, he times her math. It's not just about getting it right, it's about getting it right quicker. Faster, building the mental calluses. So he times everything she does. Just like I time my videos, I time my morning walks, I time my copywriting, I time my reading, I time everything in my life that's important, because measurement automatically does what? Measurement automatically increases performance. So even though I've been walking for 20 years, I still time every one. Can I do it a little bit faster? Can I get in 15,000 steps a little quicker? Can I make this video more impactful but shave 3 minutes off it? Does it need to be 3 minutes longer? Can I read more pages in 1 hour? Can I write more copy in 60 minutes? Constantly competing against myself. So Dan does the same thing with Emery at the kitchen table. He times everything. And in the month and a half they've been working together, the 45 days, it's crazy the trajectory of her. She's gone from public and private school where 2 + 2 = fucking 5 until this, like now she's like, when she was started 45 days ago, she couldn't do her threes. She could not do her threes to 400. So 3 + 3 = 6, 3 + 6 = 9, 3 + 9 = 12. She couldn't even get up into the hundreds without some assistant or without counting on her fingers. Now she can do all the way from ones up to 20, all the way to 400, 500 and down, reverse. And she's done that in 45 days. And how? Math every day. Math for breakfast, math when we're driving somewhere. If she's not with Dan for 2 hours on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, what is she doing? She's practicing math on her own. So she's doing math 6 to 7 days a week. 6 to 7 days a week. He calls it math for breakfast. That's why I call it copywriting for breakfast for you. You know, if you're having a problem getting copywriting done, copywriting for breakfast. Do your marketing first thing in the morning when you're sharp and ready. You know, you could call this reading for breakfast. You call it steps for breakfast. But she does math for breakfast. And so she was consistently working on her math for at least 20 minutes on a Sunday, so 7 days a week. And her trajectory, like I said, was right to the moon. He couldn't believe it. He's like, she's gone from grade 4 to grade 9 math in 45 days. Every day, no days off. So what happens? For the first time, we take 4 days off, and admittedly, she did do a little bit of homework on Saturday and a little bit on Sunday. So this could have been a lot worse, but she didn't have his teaching. She didn't have his one-on-one coaching at the kitchen table for 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then we were back there on Monday, holiday Monday, at the kitchen table. Well, he showed me when it was over, he showed me her scores, her times for her skip counts. Skip counts are the blocking and tackling of football. Skip counts are the fundamentals of hockey. Skip counts in math are the fundamentals of everything, right? That he uses them as warm-ups, like in a sport. He warms up in math as well. Do 2s, do 3s, do 4s, do 19s. That's how he warms her up mentally. So interesting. I talked to him yesterday after, and he says, Michael, look at the difference in times. Because he, like me, is not a fan of days off. But admittedly, we were like, okay, it's Good Friday. Here's some work she can do on her own. But here's the thing. Her scores, okay, dropped her times as much as 43%. In fact, she lost, I repeat, lost some of her knowledge over the 4 days. She not only couldn't do it as fast, not only was she 40% slower, but she also had to be retaught some of the concepts that he had recently taught her at the highest level. So not only she had lost some retention, she had lost some speed, and she had lost 40% of her pace in 4 days. In 4 days with a little bit of practice. So my point here is it was a reminder to me that now, you know, he said, you know what we did yesterday? He said, you paid me $200 an hour to review. He said, you just paid me $400, okay? You just paid me $400 to teach her what I had taught her the week before. So he said, we didn't make any progress In fact, we lost a couple of steps. We headed the wrong way. And now 2 hours later, we're back on track. So missing one session, which was 4 days, I literally had to reinvest $200 an hour to get just back to where we were. And I don't even know if we're there. And it was great to hear that feedback from him. He goes, Michael, everything is worse. The times, the retention, her focus isn't the same. Her work ethic at the table wasn't the same. And this is human nature. Days off make us fucking weak. They make us so weak. And it's like the great Sam Ovens says, life is like your life. If you're building a magnificent world, if you're designing the badass world of your dreams, where you have it all, you have the family, you have the wealth, you have the environment, you have the respect of your wife, your children, you're in great physical and mental health. You've got badass life design. You've designed a magnificent life. But here's the thing, to do that every day, you got to be growing as a human being, you got to be progressing, you got to be contributing to others. So you're doing that for 5 days a week. You're working out, you're walking, you're getting fresh air, you're out in nature, you're out in the cold, the wind, the heat, you're reading great books, you're feeding your mind, you're drinking water, you're nourishing your body, you're praying, you're doing it all. You're doing the physical work, you're doing the mental work, you're doing the emotional work, you're doing the connection work with your spirit, with your creator. You're doing it all, building this magnificent world day after day. And then, boom, you do what everybody else does and you stop on a Thursday or stop on a Friday. And then by Monday, you wonder what the fuck happened. You wonder why you feel tired. You wonder why you're not focused. You wonder why you woke up late. You wondered why you were drinking over the weekend. You wondered why you watched so much TV. You wondered why you ate so many carbs. You wondered why you feel guilty on Monday, why you feel shameful. You wonder why you feel disconnected from your wife and kids. It's because you stopped on Thursday or Friday. And here's the thing, the question I have to ask before some of you cupcakes are like, oh, Michael, there's more to life than work. Building a magnificent life is not fucking work. It's your duty. It's your moral obligation. You've been given a tour of duty here by your creator, and it's not to sit on your ass and binge watch Netflix. And it's not just to make money, and it's not just to be in great physical shape. It's to help other people. It's to build a legacy and to live a life of significance. No service, no significance. But here's the thing. Why in the world do you need a vacation? Or why in the world do you need a break from a magnificent life? So, you know what? The 99%, they need to vacation from their life because they hate it. The 99% need to escape from their life. They need to drink, they need to sedate, they need to medicate, they need to live in their phones, they need the dopamine hits, they need to scroll their life away because they can't stand the man in the mirror, right? The guy in the glass makes them sick. He's not living his values, he's not living congruently, he's not fulfilling his duty, he's not maximizing this gift from God, the gift of life and opportunity. He's not doing any of that. So he has to check out, he has to sedate, he has to play video games even though he's an adult. He has to escape, right? He needs a vacation. But that's what being a badass is all about, is building an elite life, an elite society for yourself, an elite world, whatever you want to call it, that you never need to escape from. That's the point, is to build a championship world, a walled garden, a society that's yours with the people that you want, your wife, your children, your grandchildren, a few select friends, your companies, your wealth, your contribution, and then you never need to escape it. You don't have to sit on the couch and drink 17 drinks over the weekend. You don't have to escape into 17 hours of Netflix. You don't have to escape into gambling or pornography because you haven't talked to your wife in 2 fucking years. You know, you don't have to sit there and scroll away your life on Saturday and scroll away your life on Sunday morning. Instead, you're investing in the relationships with your queen, with your daughter, with your son, helping people in the community, getting outside and moving, dating your wife. This is the whole thing. Everything I do, and when I say no days off, I'm not talking about work. Everybody has 1 or 2 or 3 things you got to do every day to build this magnificent world that you never need to escape from. So let's say, though, 2 or 3 things you have to do. You need to exercise, which is walking. You need to do some marketing, and you need to read books. Let's say you're like me, and those are the only 3 things you have to do to keep building this life, magnificent life, where you never need to vacation. I call it seamless living. Seamless living. So why in the hell do you need a vacation from those things? Why in the hell do you need a break from something that makes you feel alive and fantastic like walking? Why in the world would you ever need a break from reading great books that feed your mind, that feed your soul, that grow your brain and attention span? Why in the world would you need a vacation from something like that? What about copywriting? Copywriting is the fuel of your business. If you're not marketing 70% of the time, you have a 5-figure, maybe 6-figure income because you're the doer of the thing. And the doer of the thing is always broke. I'm the marketer of the thing. I'm always in the Michael McLean business. I was never in the insurance business. I was never in the barbershop business. I was never ever in the hockey business. I was never in the real estate business. I was always in the Michael McLean business. And for that to happen, I had to invest 70 to 85% of my time self-promoting and marketing whatever business I was in. But I was never the doer of the thing. I was never the dentist who drilled the teeth. I was never the chiropractor who did the adjustments. I was never the restaurant owner who made the pizza. I was never the insurance agent who wrote out the policies. Never. I was always in the Michael McLean business. And I love marketing, and I love copywriting, and I love that hour per day. So why in the world things that bring me joy, things that bring me happiness, things that are great for my mental health, things that are great for my marriage, things that are great for my body, all those things, why in the world would I want to take those off on the weekend? Why would I allow a weekend to make me weak? So I'm shooting this video on a Monday, and I'm in 10th gear. And everybody around me is sucking wind because of the 4-day break. And I'm just sitting there going, are you kidding me? I don't think I've felt this great in 10 years. First of all, I don't drink alcohol anymore. So number one, those 4 days, I was so productive. I was so on top of my game. I was up early at 5:30 in the morning instead of lying in bed all fuzzy and hungover and all this other stuff. And we had lots of social things. We went to lunch, we went to dinner, we went to brunch, we went to a barbecue. But I got those 3 things done before 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock every single morning. And they weren't work. Honest to God, they weren't work because I enjoy walking, I enjoy reading, I'm addicted to reading, and I'm addicted to marketing. Those 3 things are like brushing my teeth. In fact, I've done them for so many years, decades now, that if I didn't do them, it's like not brushing my teeth. It's like I would feel, weird. I would feel not myself if I didn't walk. I would feel weird if I didn't copyright every morning. I would feel strange if I didn't read when I had my coffee in the morning. So those are brushing your teeth habits that I'm using, and I don't need a vacation. I do those things on Christmas Day. I do those things on Good Friday. I do those on Super Bowl Sunday. I do them in Naples. I do them in Canada. I do them on my birthday. I do them when I'm sick. I do them when I'm tired. I do them when I'm feeling stressed. I do them when I'm busy. I do them when I'm on vacation. Last year, I shot a video every single day, +1. There were no days off. And everybody said, how can you do that? How can you shoot a video for 365 straight days? How can you do that, Michael? You know what? Because I didn't stop. If I had stopped and missed a day, that would have meant I would have had to shoot 2 videos the next day. 2 videos. And what would that have said to my subconscious? Then I would have been stressed. Then I would have been anxious. And then I would have woke up the second day and said, Oh man, I gotta eat this elephant. I got 2 videos to do. That's how you get yourself backed into a corner. When you miss things, you miss a walk, you miss copywriting, you miss drinking water, you miss your reading, and then you get to Monday and you're 2 and 3 times behind. You're literally 2 and 3 times behind. And if you held yourself accountable, which you should, you'd have to make up for that time. So in other words, if you miss a walk, let's say you walk 30 minutes a day. If you're a badass world builder like me, you punish yourself. I hold myself accountable. If I miss a day of walking for an hour, 70 minutes, guess what? The next day, and I don't miss, I'd be walking 140 minutes. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, so I don't miss. If I miss my reading for a day, which I haven't missed reading in probably 19 years, but if I skip my reading because, I don't know, it's Easter Sunday, the next day I've got to read for 2 hours. And I don't want to have to read for 2 hours. I like an hour. I don't want to read for 2 hours. So that's why I always read, because I would hold myself accountable. What about marketing? You guys that skip your marketing all the time. Oh, Michael, I can't write for 10 minutes. I can't market for 20 minutes. It doesn't come naturally to me. It doesn't come naturally to me because you're fucking lazy. You don't sit down. You think the way to get good at writing is write. The way to get good at marketing is marketing. The way to get good at shooting videos is to shoot videos. The way to get good at writing emails is to write emails. The way to get good at writing a monthly newsletter is to write a monthly newsletter. You'll be lousy in the beginning like me. You'll go from lousy to horrible, horrible to okay, okay to average, average to good, good to very good, and eventually, after years of doing it, 365, you'll be a master. You're a master. I can shoot these videos with half my brains tied behind my back. I don't need notes. I make it look easy because I've been doing it. I've been doing it for 10 to 20 years. I can write an email in 10 minutes because I've been writing emails for 20 years. That's the point. I didn't take any days off. Weekends make you weak. And like Sam Ovens said, it's like building yourself up for 3 or 4 days, 5 days where you're doing everything right. You're getting up early, you're saying your prayers, you're going for a walk outside in nature, you're copywriting for half an hour, you're reading 10 pages of a good book. Monday, you're strong. Tuesday, you feel better. Wednesday, you're even better. Thursday, you feel great. Friday, you're on fire. Oh well, it's time to be like everybody else. Have a few pints, quit work early, skip all your stuff on Saturday, skip all your stuff on Sunday, sleep in, the whole 9 yards. That's called pouring gasoline on your life. That's called pouring gasoline on your magnificent world. It's called burning it to the ground. Get that in your head. That's called burning it to the ground. That's what ordinary Joe does. He puts 4 days together, maybe 5, lives for the weekend. That's ordinary Joe. Hates his job, hates his marriage, hates his kids, hates his life, can't stand the guy in the mirror. So what does Joe do? He lives for the weekend. Do you know the weekend is like 30% of your life? It's 30% of your life. Good or bad, it's 30% of your life. It's 30% of your life if you sit there and medicate and drink and check out and don't walk and don't read and watch football game after football game, baseball game after baseball game. Or it can be 30% of your life that you put into making it the type of life where you never have to escape or vacation from. Just think about that. If you stop on Thursdays and Fridays, I've got a 30% to 40% advantage over you. I've just stacked the deck with time alone because I'm going to walk on Saturday. I'm going to walk on Sunday. I'm going to write on Saturday. I'm going to write on Sunday. I'm going to read on Sunday. I'm going to read on Saturday. That's a 30% stacked deck over anybody that doesn't. If you're just mailing in the weekends like everybody else, how do you expect to compete with me or be a top 1% achiever? It's impossible. And I'm not saying that you can't relax and all that stuff. When I do my 3 things on a Saturday morning and I get all my important things done, my 3 things before 9 o'clock, I am so relaxed because I don't have any guilt. I don't have any shame. I know I did the few things. Holy fuck, I do them before Krista's out of bed. Do you think that that matters? I do that stuff on Christmas morning. They said, Michael, oh my God, you walk and copyright and read on Christmas morning? How do you do that? They're still in bed. They're still in bed. People are just, men are just, they can't believe the fact that I get up on Easter Sunday or my birthday and get in those 3 things. I'm like, I'm doing them when everybody else is still sleeping. Admittedly, my daughter Emery is an early bird, but she's busy building her own world. And Krista, you know, she gets up at 7:30, and she has her own routine. But that's the whole point. Weekends make you so weak, and stopping and starting makes you so weak, because then it's a mental grind, right? You have to negotiate with yourself. You don't feel, good morning, you don't feel like going for that walk on the Monday. You've had a terrible sleep on the Sunday night because you've been drinking all weekend or watching too much TV or eating the wrong foods. You wake up tired. That's the quiet desperation crowd. That's the 99% quiet desperation. That's the opposite of what you should want for yourself. So once again, take Uncle Earl's advice. It doesn't have to be my advice. Take it from Uncle Earl, the godfather, Nightingale, of personal development and achievement. And just look around and just do the opposite of everything else. When it comes to cell phones, when it comes to anti-social media, when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to reading, when it comes to exercise, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to Saturdays, when it comes to Sundays, all of it. Just do the exact opposite. So, weekends make you weak. Man, I'm going 7 days a week, 365, and I still had all this amazing time over the last long weekend. I didn't miss a thing. I didn't miss a barbecue. I didn't miss a family thing. I didn't miss a lunch. I didn't miss Easter, anything. Plus, I kept my dreams going. I kept building the badass championship world of my life. I don't need a break. I don't need a break from the things I love. If you need a break, if you need to vacation from your life, you might want to take a look at what you're doing. You might want to have a heart-to-heart with yourself and say, man, what am I doing that I despise so much, or I hate so much that I need to escape from it? I no longer have to escape from my world, so I'm all in all the time. And all I have to do is get up early every day and get the 3 things done that I have to do. Maybe you only need 1 thing. Maybe you just have to walk. I'll tell you a quick story about this before I go. Chris and I were having some problems with our communication when we first got here to Naples 4 months ago. We've been married for over a decade, and you know, sometimes you have troubles and challenges with your communication. So I was being very short and very ugly with her in the mornings. I would be out reading, I'd be out copywriting by the pool, and she would come and want to speak to me or make a bid for connection. And I was like this grizzly, good morning, this grumpy grizzly bear, okay? Just a grumpy grizzly bear. No reason, no excuse for it. And the thing is she was like, what's the matter with you in the mornings when you're here? What's the matter with you in the early mornings? I don't want to go near you. And then I found out I had switched up my time, and I was not starting my day with my road work. The first thing I was doing was copywriting. So I went into the office and I wrote copy for an hour. So I didn't get in my steps. I didn't get in my exercise. I wasn't getting out in nature. I wasn't getting the opportunity to think, to clear my head, to listen to my personal creator. I wasn't getting to do my road work. So that day I switched it around. And ever since then, my road work here in Naples has been first thing. I'm out here at 5:59 every morning for 15,000 steps. It's my chance to unwind, to decompress, to think, to listen to my intuition, my golden gut, to connect with my creator. It's my time. Out here in the darkness, shoot a video. And you know what? Ever since then, our communication and our relationship here over the last 4 months completely transformed, complete pivot. And that's because, just like our dog Clifford, if he doesn't have his walk first thing in the morning, he's barking at the neighbors, he's barking at cars that go by. He hasn't had his movement, he hasn't had his exercise. So by me getting out first thing in the morning before anybody's up and getting in my steps, I come back, I'm a new guy. I've got my exercise, I've got my movement, I've got my fresh air, I've got my solitude time. And then when I walk in the house, I can give good energy to Krista. I can give good energy to Emery. But just little tweaks like that show the importance of no days off. You think I'm a better husband? You think I'm a better father if I mail it in 2 days a week? You think I'm a better entrepreneur, a better businessman if I mail in my marketing on Saturdays and Sundays? Do you think that makes my life less stressful? Do you think that makes my life less anxiety and worry? No, it just 2x's it. The thing is, the more that you do it every day, the less worry, less stress, less any of that stuff, and the less time you have to work. I put in 1 to 5 hours a day. That's my work. Some days, like on Easter weekend, it was 2 hours a day, sometimes 3 before everybody gets up, but no more than 5 hours. And that's because no days off. All my champions in my mastermind, no days off, no days off. Weekends make you weak. Stop burning it to the ground every weekend. Get out of the goofy tomato can stop and start mentality that you had indoctrinated into you and conditioned into you since you were a little kid. Stop and start. It's no way to do anything. Just have it seamless living. The 1, 2, or 3 things you got to do every day, and do them every day. 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, 365 days, no days off. Weekends make you weak. Remember, I am being censored on anti-social media, and I am being censored by Big Brother Tech, which means one thing for you. If I don't have your fax number, you need to get off your ass and get me your fax number today. If you don't have a fax machine, buy the cheap software, MFax, the link is below. That allows me to send faxes to your email. That's simple, okay? If you don't have a fax machine, invest in the MFax and I'll fax you. If you want to stay in communication with me daily, if you want my best money making, marketing, mental toughness training, if you want my best performance ideas, man, I'm going to be faxing them. I'm going to be faxing them once a week, but I need your fax number. The second thing I need, number 2, is I need your physical mailing address. If I don't have your physical mailing address, I need it for Off the Grid. What the hell are you going to mail me, Michael? From time to time, I'm going to mail you a free special report, a free newsletter, maybe a free copy of a fax I did. All of it, no cost to you, but it's my best stuff. It's my best marketing, my best advertising, my best promotion, my best money making, my best wealth creation, my best relationship advice, my best health advice, and it's all 100% off the grid. I fax it, and sometimes I'll mail it, but I need your fax number, and I need your physical mailing address. So all you have to do with those 2 things is email Leanne, my executive assistant, below, Leanne at badassmillionaire.com. Leanne at badassmillionaire.com. Get her your fax number and send her your physical mailing address, your home or your office. I'm not going to be sending, I'm just sending you stuff that's meat and potatoes off the grid that I'm not going to send it anymore. I'm not going to send it I'm not going to post it on social media. I'm not going to put this stuff on the internet. I'm not going to risk putting it in videos. I'm going to do all my best stuff off the grid. So if I don't have your fax number and I don't have your mailing address, you're shit out of luck and you have nobody to blame but yourself. Because I'll do this for free. I'll send you these weekly faxes for free. I'll send you some things once a month in the mail for free. All great stuff that you can use to make more money, to have more fun, to get in better shape, to create an abundant, badass world. It's the best stuff. So if you don't have a fax, get the M software today and send it to Leanne. Her email's below. The link to MFax is below. Or you can reply to this email with your physical mailing address and your fax number. My days are numbered on anti-social media. My days are numbered on the World Wide Web. I am totally ready to go 100% off the grid. I have my own video platform. I have my own email source that has nothing to do with big tech, nothing to do with Google. I have my own paper newsletter, my own paper books, my own paper telegrams, and we have our own private forum where we do our masterminds. We don't use Zoom. We don't use Skype. We don't do any of that big tech stuff. Our email is privately owned. My video page is privately owned. Our masterminds, we don't use Zoom. We don't use Skype. We use Sam Oven's school platform. That's the platform that's owned by a private entrepreneur, a fellow entrepreneur. So we have almost nothing to do with big tech. I still have videos on YouTube, but eventually they're going to ban me and shut me down. They banned all my ads. And well, you know my feelings on Facebook and Instagrunt and all that other stuff. So I need your physical mailing address and I need your fax number. Email those to Leanne below today. 2 words, weekends make you weak, right? Weekends make you weak. 365 is a hell of a lot easier than stop and start, burn it to the ground. Stop and start, throw gasoline on the plant. Get into the consistency. You build a championship world that you don't need to escape from, that you don't need to escape, that you don't need to vacation from. And you build a world of seamless living. Seamless living. Every day doing the few things you got to do, and then you have freedom, you have autonomy, and you have personal sovereignty. 2 words that changed my life, 2 words that can change your life. Be relentless.